Hello and welcome back to Ask an Artist, your favorite question and answer art segment on all of the internet. That's right, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you can think of. Wherever you get your advice, we got the best stuff. We're lucky to have you here today because you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me and, well, I thank you. I'm your host, Hayze, and today we are going to get into the real questions that you have about the life and lives of creatives. Here, we're going to answer questions about art, music, performance, and really anything else I've got experience with. And if I can't answer it, well, I'll make one up.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, I'll do my best to be authentic. The goal of this show is to help those who are seeking or already living lives in the creative fields to improve, to help them find more work, and to assist them in the ever-changing lives as creatives. So, since that's what we're here to do, let's get into it. All right, question number one. If an artist doesn't make any money doing the work, should they stop?
Hello, I like money.
Wow, that's a big question. So I'll start by telling a story. When I was a kid, I watched my mom, who was an artist, paint on a regular basis, draw on a regular basis. After she got home from work, she would be doing something creative. She would, stay up until really late sometimes after she put us to bed, my brother and I, that is, just so that she could work. And as a kid, I kind of took this same method. I loved watching her draw. I loved watching her paint. So because I wanted to be just like her, I decided, you know what? I'm going to draw my favorite characters, whether that be Batman, Spider-Man, Dragon Ball Z, or what have you. And I used to just do it and do it and do it. Now, sometimes I would go weeks, months, sometimes even 2 or 3 years without picking up a pen and drawing. Damn! And I used to think to myself, am I really an artist? Do I really like this? And there's really only one way to know if you're really an artist, and that is if you do the work, then you're an artist. Anyone who participates in the act of art making is an artist, and for that reason should continue to do the work.
Message!
The goal is not to be successful and famous. Right. That's not the goal. The goal is, if you have a specific God-given ability, is to live your life out through that.
It's not for an outcome. The goal is to find out what you can live your life through. And if you can live your life doing something absolutely for free and then find a way to monetize it to make sure that you can eat, sleep, pay your bills, then that's the ultimate goal. But that doesn't determine whether or not you are something. You are that thing just because you exist. And in this case, art is no different. Another question I get a lot is really not a question, more of a statement, but it's, I don't really have the talent that you do. How could I ever hope to become an artist? And I'll say that is absolute hogwash, BS, crap. I was having a conversation with my brother about this the other day, and he said something that was so perfect. Your opinion of your artwork doesn't make you an artist. I want to repeat that. Your opinion of your artwork doesn't make you an artist, and it doesn't not make you an artist. It's your desire, your actions. It's the things that you do that actually make you one. So, don't be so hard on yourself. Just do it. Now, to address the talent portion of that statement, watch this.
The artist who couldn't draw. Once upon a time, there was a man who was very creative. He just loved to make things. He made sculptures out of old tin cans and rusty clock gears. He recorded his thoughts in art journals, thick with layers of paint and collage. He took classes and went to workshops. All his friends and co-workers thought Roger is super creative, but he had a secret he'd never shared. One day, a new family moved into the house next door to Roger. They had a little girl named Zoe. Zoe also loved to make things. She sang songs and danced, wrote stories and plays. But most of all, Zoe loved to draw. She loved to draw everything. Dogs and planets, airplanes and clowns. One day, Zoe rang Roger's doorbell and asked if she could draw some of the flowers in his beautiful garden. As she drew, he watched Zoe and admired her drawing. "Your turn. Draw a flower." "Oh, no thanks," said Roger. "I couldn't." "Why not?" "I have no drawing talent. I don't draw." Zoe smiled and Roger took the magic pen, and every morning he sat down with a sketchbook, and he drew something. His shoe, his dog, his piece of toast. At first, the pen didn't seem to work. All the drawings were crooked or lumpy. They didn't look much like his dog or his shoe or his toast. Roger almost gave up. "I just can't draw," he said in frustration. Zoe reminded him, "Just slow down, be patient, and wait for the magic to happen." After 2 weeks of trial and error, the magic pen finally started to work. One morning, Roger drew his tea kettle, and it looked pretty darn good. So he drew his armchair. Kinda great. Then he drew a pineapple, his toothbrush, a TV set, his corduroy jacket. Magic. The next morning, there was a knock on the door. It was Zoe. "The magic pen is really working," Roger smiled. "It's amazing." From that day on, Roger drew and drew. He drew Zoe, her parents, and all his neighbors. He drew the sweaters he planned to knit. He drew his favorite dishes, and he published a cookbook, until one day, the magic pen ran out of ink. "I'm so sorry. I wore it out," he said sadly as he gave Zoe back the lifeless pen. "No problem," she said, and handed Roger a fresh black magic pen. "I have lots of them, and they're all magic." Hi, I'm Danny Gregory. I was afraid to draw, until one day, when I was in my late 30s, I learned about the simple magic of drawing. And now I know that Zoe was right. We can all learn to draw. We just have to get a pen, take a risk, and let the magic begin.
Thank you.
All right, next question. I don't have a style. Is it important to look at other artists to develop one? Or should I be looking at just one for inspiration? Good question. Easy answer. Look at as many artists as you possibly can. Search the ones that you love, search the ones you don't love. Just get to know the work that you really can identify with. That way, you can start to create worlds and spaces that mean something to you. Now, on the matter of style, that's a lie.
What? What the
Every artist has a style. It's like a thumbprint, a fingerprint. It's just built into you. Now, the reason that you don't feel like you have a style is because you haven't really developed your tools in order to use them in a way that seems second nature.
Message!
The way that I would say to develop that, though, is to start really doing some basic form drawings. 45-second drawings, 7-minute drawings, 30-minute drawings, and then, of course, hour drawings. Style is really just a result of repetition of doing the same things over and over again, and those same things having similar marks, having similar techniques, and just really the way you do things individually. So everyone has a style. All right, so the next question here is, I started my art business about 6 months ago, but I keep on getting rejected. Did you ever have to go through this? How do you deal with rejection as an artist? The fated word, no.
Oh, no.
Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to like me for what I've got to say about this, but them's the breaks. Rejection is par for the course when it comes to being an artist or really any type of career. The only thing is that a lot of the times with corporations, you get the shielding that comes with the reputation of your company. When you're an independent contractor in anything, you've really got to be prepared for consistent and constant no's. And just like any other salesperson, you've got to be able to say, okay, brush that off and move forward. Now, I know it's a little different when it's your artwork because, well, as an artist, you're really kind of bearing your naked soul to the world for them to see. But much like it's difficult for the clientele, you as an artist have to be able to separate yourself from the art. If you can separate your own personal value from the art that you are producing, then it becomes a lot easier to accept when people just think that your work may not be their cup of tea, or if they just don't know you and you don't feel like they're stabbing you in the heart. But like I said, it's par for the course, and I promise if you keep going further fast enough, you'll get through it. But most importantly, it stops hurting as much after a while. So just keep going. Before we get to our last question, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to be here and listening to our little segment here. But more importantly, if you do like it, please consider liking, subscribing, and, hit that little bell there for the notifications. And that way we can keep doing this, because the more of you that show up, well, the more YouTube likes us and the more we can put these videos out for you. Anyway, that being said, last question. What is talent? And do you need it? I'm so glad you asked this question. Easy answer. No, you don't need it. It sure is nice to have, but you absolutely don't need it.
The fuck is he talking about?
Talent is really overrated, especially in the art space. I think it's because people don't like the idea of being bad at something. And so what we do is we justify our individual weaknesses as non-talent. That way we don't have to get any better. Real talent is just an affinity to want to learn and do something more and more. The artist's only real talent is that they have a desire to be an artist and they're willing to put in the long work, the grueling hours, the blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. So can you become an artist without that talent? Absolutely. All you need is a little bit of determination and some exploration. Have fun. Take the time to give yourself the gift of being bad. Create bad art. If you create bad art, fail again and again, but don't get too hard on yourself, you'll find that you'll get a whole lot better, a lot faster than if you scrutinize it from a place of perfection. I think they call it paralysis analysis, right? So don't do that. Anyway, thanks again for joining us today on this episode of Ask an Artist. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down below in the comment section. And as always, be bold, be creative, be you.